where it looked like they didn't even stand a chance. 16-5 they lost on home soil, and that just means it's now going to be the last chance to take anything in this best of 3 series for those Ninjas.
Well, let's find out. Will Ninja Majamas be another name added to the shopping block of FaZe Clan, Astralis, Na'Vi, all there currently? Now it is up to these Swedes to decide if they will be the next lion etched into that tale, that storybook that we talked about. That B play looking likely. Karrigan up on these flower pots. Sometimes this is just left unchecked, and so it will be. Karrigan tapping on away. Get right. You're too late, buddy. You're just AFKing in a corner. It's not working out. You've been completely slaughtered from behind. Karrigan now at this point supported by Guardian. FaZe drop the gauntlet on that B play.
And that was just more than horrific what we have just seen right here, because that way you don't
Why does
want
no one
to
check it
down. Yeah, and I can't tell you. I'm not their coach. I would like to tell you, but
this is like the 8th game the past week I've casted that no one has checked that. And it's almost infuriating now. Like, it's the most common spot to play on B-Site Inferno at this point. I think that's a safe comment to make.
Yeah.
So please, you know, this is a PSA to anyone out there if you're listening right now. If you're pushing that B-Site, if you're playing FaZe, you're playing ESEA and you're making that push, check that flower pot angle. Just take it for the team.
Are we going to make a Flakes PSA per map now?
I think it needs to be happening because that really gets under your skin when you watch a round unfold like that, when it just comes down to one player needing to check it, but what was that, 3 players at bare minimum all cross on over and just basically charge towards it, and none of them look that direction at all. It's just a rookie mistake, and they get pinned from the site, they get pinned from behind. Guardian has enough time to rotate to fill for his teammate's position as well, so even if Karrigan is whiffing or whatever, Guardian starts to pick them away as well. It's just devastating.
It is enforced. Trying to do this lurk kind of thing there on today's side didn't fully work. Now it's down to Nico as well as Karrigan finding the fragment to FaMAS. Number 1 is there for Nico. Just number 2 to come up next, but that is not working. So it gotta be Guardian, Olofmeister, and Rain trying to collect the pieces there onto the B side as it now gets taken by NiP. Getting the plan helps them economically already. They can even make it to their victory where they get their first round secured, but Guardian's already in the board. There's Rest getting taken down. It should be Exist dying in a matter of seconds as he only has 20 HP as well as a little bit of armor. There comes Rain, and there comes Rain to take him down. So it's going to be 2-0, but additional money. Some nice dollars that are now onto the bank for NiP, and they should be able to afford some good stuff coming up next, which might give them the opportunity to grab their hands and take some grip onto that map number 2, which is so favorable for FaZe, of course. I mean, take a look right here. Guardian taking a free K against some kind of force buy from NiP, and this round, it should be got, yeah, a little bit of pistol upgrade.
2-0 now. Of course, worth noting that FaZe on that CT side, that has been the side they've been really so punishing for a lot of these teams on. I mean, that's what pretty much killed off North. I think that was 13-2 as well, I believe. So definitely want to really kind of see something early from NiP. I don't want to see another 6-0 favoring FaZe here. As Guardian just going to be charging down bottom banana. They've taken control with that smoke. But he won't push through. He'll just wait at this point. Leaving the ball in the court of NiP. It's your move. What are you going to do?
That's a good question right here. I mean, we've seen the ZZs and so being successful already onto train, while NiP wasn't really that much, but can go into the right direction if they utilize it into close range combats. 3 FaZe Clan players there onto the A side, waiting for a mistake from the Swedes to just come, and they rotate back out of house as they realize probably not the best of an idea. Going there down towards Bredana, where Guardian as well as Nico gain a lot of control. And Guardian, he got that MP9. He can spray all the shots and all his opponents in a matter of seconds. If they just come close, if he hears the steps, then it's going to be a bloodbath that is coming down to Banana. He just needs to peek once. There's number 1 coming, and he just waits for number 2, but Forrest, he finds Nico. Now it gets a little bit hot here onto the B side, especially as Forrest finds a second. That could be just the fastest rotation and the most mandatory rotation here for NiP they need to do so far in this game.
Karrigan, there one was just within the nick of time, is going to be overdrawn towards Church, ready to peek from Coffin. Holding for that push, they're completely blind, but 3 are facing him. He'll be left completely dead to the ground. Olofmeister now looking for the trade, secures at least the initial contact kill. But there's so much more to do. The molly could be smart. Pushes Forrest out of position, but really Rain needs to be there to capitalize on it, but no. Forrest goes to the right-hand side instead of the left. High flash is going to be good as well. Exists now all on towards him. The FaMAS going to mop him up close and personal. And Olofmeister will close it out with a few. Simple as that. FaZe Clan move 3-0, but I describe it simple, but really it wasn't all that, was it? NiP actually did a pretty good job. Forrest especially at making that a close round, and securing the plant as well will be a big boon for their economy going forward as they get that early AWP, as well as 4 rifles backed with all the utility you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, now it's going to be NiP as well as Guardian. Interestingly enough, not Olaf onto that AWP, but he's going to rifle with his M4, and so it will be Draken who will take the counter roll there onto the NiP side. We'll meet Guardian first of all, but rather rotates as quick as possible towards Banana to see any mistakes from FaZe Clan, who might think it's a good idea to over-aggress towards Banana to take control. But the smoke holds off Draken. He can't go any further here. And so it seems to be working out fine so far for the Ninjas when it comes down to taking a little bit of control. House is now into the hands of GetRight. Moves towards Boiler, and then just the shots are whiffing directly in front of his head. Was lucky enough to not get damaged by any of those wall banks. But here comes number 1. And now FaZe Clan starts counting.
1 minute 10 on the clock. Not just counting the kills, but counting the clock. Need to be so careful right now. NiP looking to mound up the pressure on that A site. Forest trying to force an opportunity towards short, turning his back, ready to find a flash shot in, but it's just not arrived. Instead, he faces dry. Exists at least with the trade, but so much more to do. Karrigan peeking from long range, catching them by surprise. It's all falling to pieces. Is this last man standing? He's backing off, withdrawing down through mid. Banana may well be a chance, but he's got 40 seconds. That rifle actually looking pretty juicy to save at this point.
There was even an AWP directly behind him. Could just pick up that scoped rifle for Draken, but in this case, tries to move around. Still has a smoke to go over there from CT, and could just work out fine if it's not going to be Nico rotating fast over construction. And he does not. Does he really go for the smoke? You gotta be kidding me. Nico, don't. Please don't do this like that. And he does not. He just waits in the smoke. He just pops himself out, and now it's going to get dangerous. No, it's Exist actually finding him, but the time is ticking low. For 1 second, I thought Nico would go full Stewie, run through, and I don't know, do some crazy no-scope or something similar, like you could imagine it from FaZe players, but in this case, it's the 4-0. And NiP with the economy. It's looking far away from Golden.
Not exactly that perfect start that I wanted to see, but just one buy and a hopefully sea of many. For NiP here, it's a bit shaky at least, but they have rifles to play with, albeit 2 Galils. But those 2 AKs and even the Deagle and Draken could all have an impact, providing they play their cards right. FaZe, meanwhile, playing everything very close to their chest. They are really going to be refusing to show NiP exactly how they want to play. Just you got Olaf shoulder peeking with the incendiary, and now pretty much, it's actually going to go back for this flash. Realizing they're not getting super aggressive, they were just tapping for the peak. They'll just smoke it off and save that incendiary. Apply a bit of later round pressure. Olaf, though, knows what's going on. He knows GetRight may be getting close. Maybe even heard the cue as well.
Oh, Guardian. He keeps his cool, as it was now Rez showing a tiny bit of his body, jumping around, forcing the Opera to do his shot too early, but in this case, nothing's coming in. But though it is Rain on the other side, getting to, and now it comes down to Olaf, who stands there. But there's one player, GetRight, who just jumps down, but he finds him in the end. And same goes for Karrigan getting Draken, so that 5-0 lead. Flakes, I feel like we have a deja vu, somehow.
Yeah, it's all kind of go the same way, really, isn't it? I mean, it's tough because NiP, like, the play wasn't exactly a bad one. They were trying to use GetRight as a catalyst for AAPs to kind of come out through bulk, but they also then trying to explode up on towards short. Problem was, GetRight found absolutely nothing because Olafmeister, just like you described, basically kept his cool. He didn't get panicky, he didn't do anything stupid, didn't give up his position, and basically just re-smoked it and was being a nuisance with the frag grenade, so denied GetRight from basically having any impact at all, leaving just those 4 players on the short. And because FaZe weren't really kind of being super confident facing into them, NiP had to force the fight. And at that point, you had someone slip out from A-long, and they basically just got crushed from all angles. So just kind of deconstructs the entire push from NiP. Now they're left with just 1 rifle, and you already start to look here and get a bit worrisome because it's just that B player. Well, the crossfire of Karrigan and his trusty teammate Nico. We've seen some of the madness that Nico can do on this B side in the past, let alone what Karrigan can do when he's stepping up as well.
And that first map looked a little bit like could be a prac match here for FaZe Clan on Train, though it's not even their kind of map. And Nico being boosted up by his teammate Karrigan. We'll try to find some NiP players who are rotating aggressively just onto that B side. Karrigan Pops that smoke, but Draken will come in hot. There's number one to find. Does not get the shot though, but comes only to Kerrigan, who finds one, who finds two, who finds three, and there's a little bit more to go, but it's Forrest who now takes him down. So it will be Getright and his teammate, who only has a deagle, to fight against 3 FaZe Cam players. And Guardian with an AWP shot. Rain has no kit, but still extremely lethal. And Olive comes in from behind. They're getting them all in a narrow position.
Deagle, painful at close range, finds the head of Rain, starts to make it a 2-for-2. AWP and rifle. That AWP, you're going to be under a lot of pressure to find that close range kills. The Deagle spams it away. Forrest gets it done, leaving just Olofmeister now a 1 versus 2 clutch scenario. Has no idea on how to handle it because he's got so much to do with so little time. Picks off Forrest, goes for Getright, but Getright knocks him down with a swift 1-2 headshot, leaving NiP around on the board and a way back into this game, but a crucial way back in too, bear in mind, as they are going to have very little to spend if they mess this up. They will get reset, and it'll be brutal for the rest of this half.
Yeah, exactly. And as we had it on Train as well, it was actually NiP getting 1 round. They're back onto CT, and then directly losing the other one, which results for all the people who are maybe not so much into CS or not into the economy, that will result in some quite economic breakdown. You're forced back to your pretty much standard guns as your losing bonus gets back to a reset point. That's not so nice, but here comes Rain. Finding Res somehow while he was standing on the head of Guardian, back to a 4 versus 4 star player who's down to 11 HP. Doesn't matter. Olofmeister gets Getright. There's one more to the right. He even finds that flick onto Forrest, and he's also hungry for Exist, but he finds him first. And all the action happens before even half of the time of this round is over. We still have more than 1 minute left.
Problem as well for NiP here is, sure, they've managed to make it a 2v3, which does put them at an inherent disadvantage, but, you know, a good amount of damage on towards Nico means that could be a kill easily found. Problem is they've got no map control. You've got Exist trying to claw something back, but he gets himself with an awkward duel with Carrigan just due to positioning alone. Now tries to wait it out, but Carrigan is just going to rip into that pillar with that M4A4, leaving him basically done and dusted. There's nothing you can really do if you Exist there. It's just an awkward fight. And that puts Draken, sure, with 40 seconds, but again, it's that kind of slow single play push. And single play just referring to the fact that it is just him all alone. I mean, it's a very, very hard round for NiP to be in. That's certainly one way to put it. Nico just spotting for the push at this point once he finds out what's going on. Likely won't even peek. I mean, it is an AWP, but once that shot is missed, he can get mollied out, which that molly could find the kill almost alone, and that makes it awkward, but Nico does the damage. Still playing for time, refusing to face. The discipline right now for him not just to swing wide and peek is so, so smart. Carrigan, same story as well. They're just allowing the entire team to get together, the clock to tick on down. They put him in a box, they steal away the AWP, and FaZe goes 6-1 up with an AWP to play for.
And exactly what happened there on Train. And the most fascinating thing about that round was how Nico just, you know, he peeks around with a knife. No, he's low HP. Realizes, okay, there's a Draken coming around the corner, and then he just takes him. He dinks him instantly there back on Grill with just a UMP. It feels like you can give everything into the hands of Nico, and he will try to wreck you also. So the discipline, as mentioned, was so much on point, but how he just once moved out, said, okay, I'm popping 1 shot onto your head, and I'm back in here. Guys want to come over, want to do some frags, and in the end, he's even finding him. 6-1 for FaZe on a map where they recently beaten so many teams on. Starting off with North, and we could continue this list any further. And I don't know how you feel, Ryan, but this is not an NiP day. This is not a day where they feel like they can do some magic.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle. I mean, look, deep down, I'm a big fan of NiP, if I'm upfront about it. In the form of, you know, the history of this organization. I mean, NiP as an organization goes back to
actually
the year 2000s.
Yes.
Yeah, like there's a song reference in there somewhere that I was going to run with, but I'm just not even going to try that now. But either way, I mean, it's such a rich name within esports that you kind of do want to see them rise to the top, but they're struggling right now. They really are. I mean, this match kind of proving that, and also the past proving it. You know, close-knit series against LDLC is all well and good, but sure, you made a point. LDLC were edging it out, so you know, yeah, there's that to read into.
I will let you feel old now. The last time NiP participated in a major was at ESL 1 Cologne 2016, and there they went out in the group stage.
That's not that long ago.
It still feels weird, right? It just feels like something's wrong when NiP, the last major was last year, when they attended.
I guess when you look at it from the name perspective, you know, the whole, I guess namesake is the better phrase to use, but I mean, either way, well, it's not too much to miss in this round. These pistols, the rifle and Get Right, trying to find themselves an opportunity. They have got the bomb down. Get Right, the head of Guardian. Making it a 3 versus 3. Resin is the Eagle. Trying to hold down short. The bomb is ticking, but the peek comes in. Olofmeister able to find the headshot. Nico as well, adding up for a tally of 3. That's Rez, the last man to fall. The body bag looking filled to the brim at this point for NiP. And the scoreline goes 7-1.
Work out according to plan right here for the Ninjas, as it's just going downhill step by step. Sure, that bomb plan helps him out economically, as they can once more go up for the AKs. Maybe Get Right could buy an AWP for Draken, but that is not happening. We're seeing they're trying it over and over, but strategically something is missing right here. Some kind of important break in the wall is just not existent, and I don't know if it's just their off day, if they're just feeling a little weird, or something going on internally. But the Ninjas, on those 2 maps, they're not lacking in that performance we have just seen from them recently, where Raz and Draken are actually a good decision to be added to the roster. But we're going to see this map is far away from over. 7-1 has to mean nothing, but Get Right gets on close. Olaf, he finds the first, and so there's the entry. But before I can even finish my sentence, Rain grabs another. So this goes according to plan for FaZe. Pretty massive.
The balcony play just completely crushing NiP. Nothing for them to be able to work at all. Every little nook and cranny of the map being covered off at this point. Pistols, yet again, the only real topic that you can get into for NiP, is that's about all they can really afford. And that's if they spend anything here. Just 1 Deagle, I think, coming out, and CZ as well. A few more weapons, but it's looking bleak, let's be honest with ourselves.
It really does. And in this case, the pistols, you know, they can be something used wisely. When you have guys like, I mean, Forrest have been hitting so many Deagle shots in the past few maps that he's so much on point, but beforehand, Olofmeister gets Get Right. And so to speak, this should be just a round over before it even started, because 3 FaZe Clan players are waiting onto the ace side. Rain always playing that pillar position, but beforehand, there's a little bit of a gap that Olofmeister utilizes. Draken tries to peek, Draken tries to hit. Draken gets taken down in the end. Olaf aiming for a free K, excuse me, for an ace maybe in this one, as he already got the free K, but beforehand, they're all pushing through. Finds 4, and that round is over before it even really started. 1 round away from double digits, and NiP, it just feels like they're shrugging their shoulders and just like, what shall we do? I mean, what's happening next?
It's funny, just to go back to that smoke as well in B, on A-App, sorry. I don't know if Olofmeister threw the smoke, but I'm going to make the assumption he did, because usually you can. That's a smoke you can throw if you want to, deliberately, because it gives you that gap on the right-hand side to play with. It means no one can cross to the boiler side without you seeing them. It basically gives you full control of that stairwell and towards back alley. So it's a smart thing to do if you FaZe.
That was the first try here from Kerrigan, take that middle control. Somehow, he was the first to have his gun out, but somehow it did not hit a single shot. In this case, doesn't matter. Revenge came in from Rain, and so they're back to a 4 versus 4. As a lot of house control has been recently taken by NiP, this is always how they somehow start off the round. Try to find something in house, see if anyone is close by, and then rotate off back onto B, or somewhere towards Banana at least. Smoke just popped by Forrest towards the CT direction, where Nico and Olofmeister are standing in, but they're just keeping their cool. There's nothing to be worried about, as they're just jumping down onto each other's head. And there's now 60 seconds for NiP to play. Get Right gets 1, and now it gets a little bit hotter here onto the A side. Olof
going to swap out for the AWP, just looking up towards that, seeing if he can find Get Right, who will be coming at him. Almost just a moment's notice, but the smoke Bloom's blocking his field of view, forcing him to have to push on through. Get Right still not exiting, makes Olaf's position so much more valuable. The Deagle now coming out, going for the headshot. He'll find it, looking for more.
What?
Olofmeister, triple kill. Oh my goodness. Olofmeister stepping up for FaZe Clan as they walk up 10-1 in this game.
It doesn't matter what he does.
That's one way to ramp us up. I mean, we're sitting there, we're just like, Olofmeister's pushed the smoke. That's great.
And
okay. Just, yeah, all 3 kills. The Deagle doing all of the work. That is a miracle round for Olofmeister to find. And damn right, you call a timeout if you're NiP at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that hurts, right? It was not even headshots he was doing. The body shots were so accurate on every single NiP player coming there out of balcony. He hits 1, he hits 2, and he's on 19-2. That is just incredible. He's so much on point right now onto Inferno. It seems like that won't really change. NiP with the timeout trying to figure out anything here, but if that will work is a different question, because 9-point difference, FaZe Clan are just trying to hit up as much as they can, and if we imagine it will be a 14-1, it's a single pistol for FaZe, and then it should be over and done and out, and then NiP are just packing their bags. No chance to advance here anymore into the Epicenter qualifier, if I'm not totally wrong, and that's just
Well,
painful.
they can play the lower bracket side if
Right,
they wanted to. Of course, that'd be a matchup against Hellraisers or Heroic.
Yeah.
There's definitely a serious chance, but then you have to imagine the idea that, okay, if NiP lose this game 2-0, then they beat out either Heroic or Hellraisers, then we have a whole nother grand final to compete for that qualifying spot. So we could be seeing the third rematch between these teams.
Right.
It's absolute madness, but you never know.
Yeah. That's what CS is recently about, where all the teams can beat everyone, but now it's only down to Exist. He will try his best, but running out of chances, so it will be 11-1. NiP, it does just not feel like the NiP magic. It just does not feel like this is the NiP we have just actually seen recently playing not so bad. Hellraiser's taken down, Fnatic getting taken down by them, and so on and so on. The final map is probably not what we're going to see, because FaZe, there's no way, there's no actual way they're giving this away to their opponent when they're on such a streak. They could lose every single round during this half. They would still look so favorable coming up next. And we'll figure out. Straken finds one, Nico peeks, and gets the refrag instantly, so we're back to 4 versus 4 in the first 15 seconds. Nice try from the Ninjas to take that aggression, but you don't get rewarded.
No, Horus just going to run Knife out behind Guardian. He's there with a CZ lurking in the corners of mid. Running around through the likes of back alley, going to get himself into underpass. And the problem is, Ninjas now know they're under this almost pressure from all angles. They have to go fast. Exist taking that pressure on towards Karrigan, does secure just another kill. Guardian was looking banana for some reason, even though he knows the position of Nico, so realistically should be focusing attention much more towards A, and so he does. As he gears up towards short. Good flash, but he will be checking towards pit. Molly is going to come out to start to clear things, but Scopes in, unfortunately, an unlucky timing. Get right. Give him the chance for the duel. It all falls to Nico. His position pretty much known. Get right, tapping away, trying to force the fight. Nico caught with flash in hand. Smoke as well. Deagle not quite going to save him today. NiP a second on the board. But may I remind you, FaZe, they make a habit out of 13 twos. So let's not get ourselves too excited over the resurgence of these Swedes just yet.
Yeah, and economically speaking, it's more than fine for FaZe anyway. They can buy up and buy up and buy up as much as they want. At this point, where Guardian still has $6.8K on the board, and that's just more than fine to even work up next round if they're losing this to NiP once more. But we're going to figure out. The one time NiP won a round during this game, they directly got shut down afterwards. Same it went with Train, and we're going to figure out if that is going to be the case once more, as they're taking a lot of aggression here towards the A side. We see 5 Ninjas just waiting for the right call and the right timing, while FaZe just keep up their cool and keep up their patience. Another additional player coming in. Karrigan rotates off, and there's the first one to be found. Rain gets Forest, but Exist finds at least that. Olaf jumps back down into pit and does not find anything. This is back to a 4 versus 2, and now back to a 4 versus 1. That is surprising. That A side being taken easily by NiP. Now Nico, he has to show us what he can do, because usually we know what he can do.
And then NiP finally found what they need to crack open the CT side. Sure, I'll be a little late, but 11 for half is better than what could be so much different. All they need is one more round to make that a reality. But their opposition, of course, still going to be filled to the brim with weaponry and the AWP as well to boot.
Well, you gotta tell me, what does deep down your heart say about this game? Will this be an NiP comeback when we come down to them playing CT, or will it be just, you know, FaZe running over this as soon as they can?
I think it's going to go 16-6 to FaZe.
Once more? No, wait, 16-5
Yep.
the Train, yeah. Just
I'm going to go 16-6, but
I feel
pretty
you.
close. 65 as well, but I do think that NiP will likely better get some work in here. I think that 11-4 should be achievable, providing they play for the same idea. I mean, Exist, it's kind of a dodgy play for him to push through like this, but somehow makes it work. Nico ripping into them for the double, though. And it removes the idea of the Draken. Okay, lines him up through the wood and takes him down. That equalizes things, but going back to what I was talking about, they were walking up to the A site and just exploding, basically, in this contact style play, and that's what got them that last round. Now they're trying to play so slow. and trying to kind of inch their way onto the site, it does make me a little concerned they're just going to get picked apart. I mean, Guardian here, for example, under pressure in pit, but throws the defensive flash, goes to the flick, misses it. Draken is going to be there to punish him, but Rain has been bought enough time. Get right. At least able to take him down, putting it all on towards Olofmeister, but it's opportunity after opportunity for FaZe, which is what scares me about the round. But Draken is going to seal the deal. 11-4 does come through. And thankfully for NiP, is now, if they take the pistol, there is a way back in. And at least there's that. At least there's a chance.
Yeah, and as you're mentioning that, we're going to see if that is going to be the case. FaZe now with all the Glock options. And I could imagine Kerrigan buying himself some smoke, in this case, as he usually does. On the bottom of the score, but he's been calling so well so far. I mean, last map, we have seen him doing a quite good fake. Were you just actually... You just interrupted me. How impolite of you, but... where it was just too good how they got onto the A side. Maybe we're going to see something similar right here, but first of all, it's Draking starting up hot, finding one together with Exist, finding another, and so it's going to be Nico who needs to hit his shots, cleaning up towards the B site, and Get Right needs to hit, and oh! Okay, you can be full flash and still hit Kerrigan in the face, that's fine. But there are 3 more to go for, and Olaf needs to plant this, while Nico, he's the kind of guy you want for a defense.
1 versus 3. Nico, a legend now within Counter-Strike, as he really makes it to kill number 1. The headshot on Forest. Now his players to dance around this bomb site, wait for the pushes. NiP gonna give him one singular kill. Get right now. Exist. They all walk in. Nico outclassing them in the 1v3, getting himself 4 kills overall. Nico running for best player in the world, arguably so. Pushing himself up there amongst some truly legendary names. And another play that really helps back that claim too. 12-4. NiP. A long, long way back.
That is just more than nasty what we've been seeing from him. He's down on his own and kills one ninja after another.
It was just clinical, the 1v1s that he was able to take, but it was almost like NiP kind of played into him. They took the fights. They didn't peek together. They just walked into his crosshair. He set himself up with the brains to back the aim.
I mean, the
I think that's a statement that really sums up Nico right now. He's not just a player with unreal aim ability, but he read exactly how NiP were going to play that. I
mean, besides that, they could have just, you know, caught himself off guard together if they moved not from the same position, but they didn't, both going through construction instead of coordinating a proper push. But now it's going to be 3 more players from NiP. Will try their best to maybe go for a retake, but they're saving up their armor. Smartest decision. Forced investing into a Deagle as well as full armor. That costs a good bunch of money. Same for Rez as well as Get Right. And that will be the 13-4 FaZe. Not really far away from the victory. Finishing this off 2-0. Get Right gets at least Rain. And now the question, will the hunt start? No, it won't. Olaf tries, but he gets shut down early on. A little bit of economic damage onto FaZe, and that does not really hurt them. Not majorly, at least.
Gonna be saving out at this point, keeping those weapons for that next round, that next fight. But NiP, at this point, you start to discuss the idea, sure, you know, they lost the battle, but they can still win the war, right? Can they? Can they really? It's 13-4, it's so far down. They still can't really afford to do anything here as well, which puts them in that kind of do or die scenario that we saw on Train. Remind you of anything? Deja Vu 2.0.
When you say Deja Vu, it always reminds me of that Eurobeat song. It will never get out of my head, probably, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. I'm not gonna sing
it.
But
me neither. I don't want to do it, but it's going good. I mean, they're doing the drifts like Takumi right here when it comes down to FaZe Clan, but it works out more than fine. As we're seeing, Kerrigan goes in aggressive, gets Get Right actually dinged through the wall, as how it looked like with that UMP 45. And Rain does the same with the Mac. Tries to hit on Forest, but now he comes the first. Number 1 is coming. Draken just waits for the right timing, and there it should be working for him. Oh, look how patient he is. Draken just holds up. Kerrigan already moved up. There it works. Gets at least the IGL from FaZe, and so it will be. 1:10 left. That goes so much in advantage for FaZe Clan if they wouldn't be Get Right for hitting another player.
Problem is, FaZe, they came up with a grand idea, and that was just to quickly relocate towards that B site, and it was a smart play, one that is going to be so strong for them. As that bomb plant can come through, Rez can't capitalize on that plant. I mean, it is going to be a 3v3, but a retake for NiP with 0 kits in play, very limited utility, limited weaponry. The frag grenade is trying to see if they can pick up a kill, but Olaf already tearing ahead of Draken. Hungry for more as Guardian takes down Get Right, leaving just Rez all alone. 14-4, right at the cusp of it. And there you have it. FaZe Clan securing it. NiP looking confused, looking lost. And ultimately, this could be the end.
Yeah, it could be. And that will be now Draken at least on the off. He can now try his luck onto the CT side to hit some shots with the $4,750 rifle, but the now or never situation of the nearly dead body of Ninjas in Pyjamas who's just breathing little bit before it gets down to the 2-0 victory of FaZe. Or will the NiP just making magical and mythical kind of comeback? There starts Draken taking down Guardian, the ex-Navi player, but Nico gets Get Right on the other side of the map, where only Rez is there for defense. Draken has to rotate over, and it should be the 19-year-old dying in a matter of seconds if FaZe are not messing this up. And there comes the flame. Olaf gets him first with the map-10, a quite nasty kill. And Draken, he utilizes that one. Okay, there's a second one to come in. Sees Kerrigan, but does not hit the shot. So that comeback might be just possible right now, because the retake, it's more and more possible as 3 players of NiP are still alive.
Oh, I've seen this from Rain before. This was a classic play back in the day. The smoke flash comes through. He wonders. It was the tip of the corner. Then Peak spots out Forest, but no, the headshot comes in. Draken getting close with the USP. It is
they
done.
Have no kit.
NiP.
That works, right?
They should have enough time. They should have enough.
Yeah,
You had me panic switching to exist for a second there.
No, it should be working. I'm sorry. I'm trying here, okay? I've tried, but...
Oh, my heart. For a second there.
No,
I was just like completely cut my trail of thought off and just listen to the beep of the bomb. Because you do ask that question, don't you? You're like, okay, they actually got no kit.
Yeah, I mean...
Did they have time? But they did.
That was just a statement. That was just a statement of facts. They got no kit. So, you know, you don't have to be worried just by me saying they have no kit.
Don't scare me like that, man.
I don't want to. I'm not a fan of scary movies. I mean, the scary movies are cool, but not scary movies. Getting back to it, though. It seems a little bit like a horror movie so far for NiP, because... first map didn't go according to plan as it was their own pick, and 14-5 is not a comfortable scoreline when it comes down to Inferno, but they're starting off good. As they're getting the man advantage of this. Forest, though, only on that max 7. Nico pushes for the smoke, Rain does the same, and so it's going to be Raz at least finding the Norwegian. 2 versus 3, but a hell of a lot of time left for FaZe to make whatever they want to.
Guardian picking off Rez. Making it a 2v2 now. Even Stevens, Get Right, holding for Nico. And now he's been spotted tap after tap. Eventually the burst fire to shut him down. Leaving just Forest. 13 HP to his name. Few flashes and such.
Ryan,
that's about it.
You started the robotic voice, and now you're sounding like your Jigsaw when we just had the scary movies. But before it, Guardian gets Forest, and if you're asking who I'm commentating with, it's Ryan Jigsaw Oliver, also known as Flakes. It depends how he feels like. Sometimes like this, sometimes like this. But yeah, as we're seeing, it's just one round away for FaZe Clan to actually take it home in an easy and nice fashion. After taking their opponent, just fully slaughtering them there onto train. This could just happen once more on this map, Inferno, that was so far so successful for FaZe Clan.
Who knows? Fingers crossed I'm not Jigsaw at this point.
Nope, you're sounding as beautiful British as usual.
My alter ego has been locked away. 15-5, and the hopes and dreams of the Swedish crowd are all banking on NiP and a play with a Nova, a CZ, and a Famous. It's looking rough to say the least, but FaZe, they are going to be walking close to these smokes now, ready to pop out towards that B site. Karrigan and Draken going 1-for-1. Get Right, being annihilated from that AWP. Exist, flashing his way in through long, trying to see if he can catch the position of Karrigan, who's holding for the rotates. The composition is there. Everything from FaZe is there in this round for them to win it right here, right now. As Karrigan waits, the kill looking likely, but as this peaks, they double peek, they bait him out. And that makes it even Stevens a 3v3 once again. Back of sight, Nico playing around this pillar, holding for these pushes. So much time in play, but they have the kit on Rez. At least that is ideal. More noise being given up. Molly blocking them from coming in from CT. Nico, it's all on him.
Not getting it though. All of Meister is doing. There's number one coming in, but only down to Guardian. The ex-Navi player not hitting the shot. Number one exists is very close. He got to try to make it possible, but not that flick that is working this time. Forrest can get the defuse, and this keeps NiP alive a little longer. Though it looked like that bomb could have just blown up a second away. It worked out. And your prediction once more, it was 16-6. Let's see if it comes true, and if so, I will always come to you for predictions.
We'll see, we'll see. I'm not going to get ahead of myself just yet, but again, everything is there. This time NiP, though, have a lot more weaponry to play with, and I really want them to come back, I'll be honest. It would be super cool because, again, I want NiP to have that resurgence, become a top team in the world to be reckoned with. But just not quite seeing the staple marks of that team just yet after some really odd rounds to lose. Singular picks in a 1v3 pistol, for example, led to a game that is still standing at a pretty decimated result of 16-6 that could well happen. Olafmeister starting strong. Rez and Nico both going to butt heads, but still it's Nico to come out on top. Falling back now, playing around hay bales. Forrest just cautious of that balcony play, but also wanting to support his teammate in case they do try and contact that boiler, but then he goes back sight, leaving Zist almost hung out to dry. Flash is perfect, forcing him to back boxes. Rain isn't going to check for him, buying a chance for Forrest now. His moment to step into the spotlight. Stardom. But not today. Get right. Trying to reclaim things, but it won't happen. FaZe Clan 16-6, beating out Ninjas in Pajamas 2-0, and most importantly, above all else, securing themselves a spot in the epicenter 27.